Hey everyone, it's my pleasure to host the AI Enablement and Advancement panel, the keynote panel for today. My name is Chua. I'm a director of data science at Meta, and I've been a sort of data and AI practitioner for the last 10 or 15 years. But that's all I'll say about myself. I want to make sure the focus is on these three gentlemen here. Before I do, though, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the conference sort of producers. You guys have done an amazing job, and I still remember when I came during 2020 during the COVID pandemic, the room was maybe 30% this full. So it's really great to see AI just sort of thriving and sort of creating so many opportunities, as Tino mentioned. But without further ado, let's kind of kick it over to the panelists for their introductions. Maybe starting with Millind. Can you talk a little bit about your background and sort of where you came from?
Thank you. Hi everyone, I am Millind. I take care of AI products for Mercedes-Benz for region overseas. And since Mercedes is a German company, as Timo would know, everything outside of Germany is overseas. Yeah. So for the region for us is the world minus USA, Western Europe and China. And my background, I come from a very diverse background. I have 3 masters, including 1 in AI. And I absolutely love what AI is doing to the world. And I'm here to contribute directly as well as share my knowledge with all of you. And hope what I have to say will be useful for you. Thank you.
Maybe moving to Avinash now?
Hello. Yeah. Hey, this is Avinash. I am Director of Data Science at Walmart Global Tech, right? And I have been leading a data science team for last 4+ years, right? I have been part of Walmart Global Tech for almost 8 years, and from the last 4+ years, I have been leading the data science team for Sam's Club. Sam's Club is a membership business of Walmart.
I'm a customer.
Yeah, and So my background, right? So I have like over 2 decades of AI ML, right? Even before machine learning was popular in industry, I did my PhD in machine learning in 2006, and continuing same. Right, from last 15+ years, I have been working in retail domain, including my tenure at Walmart. So I have a lot to talk about AI in retail. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Avinash. And you have my heartfelt gratitude for keeping me alive in the US, because I'm a very heavy customer of Sam's Club. And yeah, you guys all know Tino already, but I think a quick introduction's in order.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think you know me now all. I'm Tino. I'm the Vice President of Siemens here in Korea and in charge of the industrial business we are doing in that very important market. I have a background in computer science, electronics, and business administration, not particular on machine learning, or in Germany we called it at this time when I was studying künstliche Intelligenz. This was the German word for artificial intelligence. But I have been in the industry since more than 2 decades now, and I have seen development. When we started not even being online, not even having an email address, where we are ending now and how we are operating manufacturing and factories and all these industrial applications. So it's a significant move which has been done. I'm surely not the expert in artificial intelligence, or not talking on all these specific words there. So my job is more bring this great technology into strategies, into the market, helping companies benefiting from it, and that's what I'm focused for.
That is fantastic. I'm so happy to see such a diverse sort of group of individuals in different industries, so I'm sure we all have a lot to learn from them. So I think I'd like to start sort of with this panel is going to be focused on enablement and advancement of AI within your respective companies. So what are the lessons that you as an audience can take home and implement at your own companies or your own sort of domains? And obviously, I think AI has recently kind of made it to the limelight, with ChatGPT, a whole bunch of, publicity, funding, sort of eyes have come into AI as something that will revolutionize many industries. But the fact of the matter is, AI has already been in use in many industries. I mean, look at everyone's careers here. They've been doing shades of AI for the past, couple of decades. So I think what I'd like to kind of understand is, where has AI, over the last several years, unlocked value at your companies? So where have you found the pockets of value, the opportunities that have enabled efficiency or new product growth or new product development? And yeah, what has been your experience with that, your journey through that over the last several years? So maybe we can start with Millind and kind of come towards me. Yeah.
Thanks, Jack. Before answering your question, 2 quick points. Yeah? I love it how all of us got applauded except for you.
I don't deserve it, that's okay.
Yeah, and by sitting farthest away from you, I always thought that I will have time to, I will get the questions last, I will have time to think it through, but no. Okay. At least in my present company, as Timo was pointing out, the plethora of opportunities for deployment of AI, same way. There's literally no activity that happens within the company where somebody is not exploring what we can do with AI. From designing the shape of cars, all the way to engine performance. To give you one example, one of our S-classes, the electric ones, produces more than 10,000 signals per second, something that Timo also mentioned. From that to better customer service, as an example, well-known example is that we have ChatGPT integrated into our S-classes in US now, and so on and so forth. So there is not a single activity that is not being explored. And that is not surprising at all, because with the present level of technology, almost everything a human can do, in let's say within a second or 2 seconds, can practically be automated. So if a human is doing something, like looking at brake pads, this is also something we do all across our manufacturing process, looking at paint quality, corrosion of brake pads, tire performance and stuff like that. Everything that a human can do, we have the possibility of enabling that human with AI and technology to take it to the next level. And some of these, and this is quite intuitive, we can see within the 7 colors, certain small portion of electromagnetic spectrum. With our machines, we have tried forever to increase what we can do, of the range of our senses far beyond what we have as humans. Whether it's with telescopes, or with special sensors going beyond the visible spectrum of light, sound, etc. And on all of that, then in the past we used to deploy some kind of a human to track those signals and understand. And now we are trying in every aspect to enable our humans with AI tools to make them more effective, to make our cars better and the world safer. This is a subject I love. I can talk about it, but forever. But thank you. Thank you for the question.
Sounds good. Thanks, Millind. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll have some follow-ups as well as we shift to the more kind of organizational questions about how to enable that. But Avinash, what about you? What has your experience been unlocking value at Walmart and Sam's Club?
Sure. I mean, AI and machine learning has been there for last 2 decades, right? And there have been conventional applications, right, in retail. Like, if you think of it, right, you start, what the first decision we make in retail, right? Opening a store, or for e-commerce, opening fulfillment center, right? starting from that decision, right? Then what items to store, right? When it comes to merchandising, right? Then comes the supply chain, right? And if there is an over inventory, how you kind of liquidate that with the markdowns. So all these decisions are driven by the data science, right? In retail overall, right? And recently, like we are seeing a shift, right, to a lot of developments with the emergence of computer vision and now LLMs, right? So I just want to highlight just one of the important breakthrough, right, we did in the field of computer vision at Sam's Club. So if you know, like there are 600 clubs in the US, Sam's Club, and there are scrubbers running in the club that captures images, right? And we processes those millions of images, right, to get the insight into like the locations of the items, right? Are the items at the right place? Or something is getting out of stock? Are we having the right prices, right? So price signs. So all these use cases we have been solving, right? Yeah. Just to add on to some of where the major focus is, right? So I've been talking about supply chain, right? So if you think of Walmart scale, right? So we will have like millions of SKUs to forecast. So think of the challenge, right? So everything is data-driven and machine learning-driven. Yeah.
That's great to hear. I actually do have a follow-up question, Avinash. So in terms of competitive advantage, like where has these advancements kind of propelled you over the traditional grocer or, you know, a traditional sort of, you know, supermarket that doesn't have these AI advances? So where's the sort of the value and the efficiency seen?
Yeah, I would say I don't want to pick up one place where we are seeing it, right? So overall across, right? So we are the technology adopter, right? So whether it's LLM or whether it's computer vision in the past, like, right? So we have adopted it past and we have utilized it in the business, right? So that keeps us ahead. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, yeah, last to Tino. Yeah, maybe you can elaborate a little bit about sort of how Siemens has found AI to be kind of a competitive advantage and, you know, brought it to bear as I guess, part of the consumer offering now, right?
It is. I mean, we need to understand that we are working on machine learning, artificial intelligence, not just now. We're doing this since the last 30, 40 years already. Yep. Why is now so popular and why it's now coming up with all these use cases? It's all about what was missing in the past, and there was one crucial element, this was digitalization. So no data, no machine learning, right? No connectivity, no data. So the whole chain of digital technologies needed to be integrated to enable us now to create that value. And this is where we are right now. If you look into the industrial applications, they are more connected, more digital, more data than ever before. And I have shared this already. And this enables us now, and we always think along a typical, we call this life cycle, a product and a production life cycle. So from the ideation, the design, and we talked on the design of the Mercedes cars, for instance, right? We are using generative design, which is AI-based, to optimize. So give a few parameters in, like some flow constants or some flow ways, and then AI designs a product around that, right? And even the way we are manufacturing that. So this is a huge improvement. We are reducing material by that. It's only possible because we have nowadays additive manufacturing. Without that, you couldn't manufacture this very organic-looking products and devices, right? So all these technologies now coming together at a certain point and building the bigger picture, right? And that was a key enabler in allowing us to do that. Or if you go further than what I said before already, we have AI in many of the softwares, and you don't even see it as AI. When the software is recommending you the very next button you have to click, that's AI-based because it predicts your behavior out of the knowledge what you do normally out of the task you are actually executing. So we make the work a bit better for the people, make it a little bit less failure focused, right? Help them to have a better way to work. And then continuing this, I mean, now everyone talks about ChatGPT and things like that. You can go online and ask that guy to give you a software code, a source code, how you connect a manufacturing line with an IoT cloud, whatever, and it will give you someone. You will get code for this MQTT connectivity from a controller to a cloud application, right? But this is not working, because who gives you now all the topics that you are ensuring safety, security, all the local laws and regulations? So, and this is where we are now going into a next step, using the power of this generative AI also in a way that we make it industrial grade. So coming from the early AI stages, just combining data, predicting and deciding, now we're utilizing the new power and bring up entirely new use cases and applications, again, to constantly make the work environment and the results for the industrial customers at the end of the day much better.
Yeah, that's amazing. And as you presented previously, Tino, like the kind of the downstream objectives and the value gains are quite incredible. Whether it's making the planet more sustainable or improving the throughput of the factories with fewer workers. I do have a follow-on, which is sort of from the perspective of if you were sort of a traditional company or traditional manufacturing kind of operation, it seems like AI is going from 0 to 100, right? You kind of have digital transformation as a precursor to AI. You have to collect all your data assets and kind of hook up all your sensors. Do you have any advice or maybe a playbook of sorts for if you were such a company that's wanting to embark on this journey, how do you de-risk the process? So how do you kind of ensure success?
Reasonable question. Surely I have playbook. I would not like to promote so much now on my company, more on the general topic. The question is asked a lot, especially, we distinguish between, or we differentiate between the large enterprises and what we call the SMEs, the small, medium enterprises. And there we very often hear this whole digitalization is too complex, too expensive, we don't have the right knowledge. And this is another misinterpretation, because the good thing on digital solutions is they are so nicely scalable. They are so nicely scalable, right? All these software, what you would need, you today get either for free or you can subscribe as much as you need. If you need more, you do more, and you pay more as much as a company can afford. We're coming into software-defined systems, right? So in the old days, you needed to buy a lot to get some work done. Nowadays, you can really go online and have virtual controllers. So there are a lot of opportunities for any kind of company in terms of investment, to scale that up, also scale up their inventory and the environment they are building up. And as said, most essential for us is the education. And there is a huge effort ongoing in Korea as well. And it's one of my very personal focus topics to work with the educational system, preparing people for this transition. And I mean, also as a small company, you need to be attractive, right? And if you tell young talents that you're focusing on the future of industry, if you're an industrial company, what more can be attractive to a young talent, right? So it needs to be just started. The only thing we can tell is where to start. Each company has a different status quo, has a different vision, and based on this both parameters, the starting point is different, but then the way, it's all more or less always the same.
Right, absolutely. That resonates with me as well. I mean, even my experience in Meta, kind of AI is not just kind of an efficiency tool, there's also a retention tool, right? It's, when you have these really interesting projects and really meaty problems to solve, that actually increases the morale of the people that are working around it. So yeah, that's absolutely true. In the second half, I'd kind of like to pivot the topics more towards kind of the organizational components. So if you're a company, you're trying to embark on this AI journey, how do you start? How do you enable the processes and the components to kind of get to the 0 to 100, as I mentioned? So this time, maybe starting with Avinash, what are the tips and tricks that you have for kind of enabling a AI organization? So if you were a manager or maybe a data executive or a data team leader, so what are the things to keep in mind sort of as you go through this journey?
Sure, thanks. I think this is a very good question, right? So. As an AI leader, right, how we start, right, from the scratch, right, or what is your message to the new AI leaders, right? That's the question. See, as far as, and again, I'm going back to my domain, right, and as I said, right, so the retail domain, right, as a customer, it looks, we kind of relate to it easily, but there are a lot of complex process underneath it, right? So, like as I said, like when it comes to, let's say we talk about merchandising, right? So how we select the items, right? What items we should select to keep in the store, right? So that's a very challenging problem, right? And because there's so many choices. and there are different types of atoms. So there are like regular atoms, the groceries type of atoms, and there are fashion seasonal atoms. So right, so there is a completely different strategy for assortment planning for both this, and these are brought to two categories, right? So there are multiple categories within that too. So we need to understand the domain first, right, in detail. Then again, going back, right, why we need to understand domain, right? So there are a lot of technology out here, right? Let's say we want to solve a forecasting problem, right? So there are a lot of softwares or there are algorithms, state of the art available. But can we take the data as is and just feed it to that, right? So that's where we need to understand the data very well. Like for instance, if you are building a forecasting model, right, we need to see, are we feeding, is the sales data the right representation of the demand data, right? So are there stock outs, right? So or there has been steep discounts, right, in the past, so that lead to increase in sales. So we need to correct for that, and we need to reprocess that. So that can happen only when you go a bit deeper into the data, right? And the last advice, right, would be is like use what is needed for the job, right? So there are multiple things available, but just create a baseline with some reasonable model with relatively less complexity, which you can use it as a benchmark.
So not
right?
always starting with the neural network. Maybe
right.
you can start with something simpler.
Right.
Yeah.
So you will have it as a benchmark. Let's say for forecasting, like you will use a conventional time series model as a benchmark, right? And build on top of that, right? Whether you are improving on top of that, right?
Yeah, totally.
So yeah.
Which I think begs kind of a similar question. So when you think about innovation, right? When you think about incubating these highly risky ideas that may or may not pan out, how do we translate ideas from the lab to reality? So is there an innovation pipeline or a process that Walmart uses to kind of get these high risk ideas over to kind of the stores, and sort of what's the process for that?
Yeah, I mean, and in retail, like as I said, right, it's very, like whenever we build something, right, so we build it for very small scale. Like let's say,
got it. Yep.
Right. So
run some pilots.
So we run pilots in store for few stores, right? Or if it is e-commerce, we'll do A/B test, right? And when we scale it, right, and when we get more confidence, right, and then it's easy to scale, right? Yeah.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the insights, Avinash. So now I'm going to kick it over to Millind for a completely different question, which is around ethics. So. It's different, but also very difficult, and I think it's again at the forefront just with all of these black box models that humans don't fully understand the internal workings. In the infancy, when we introduce these black box models to the world, they don't have the proper guardrails or the controls because they just haven't been in use for that long. So, where's the role of ethics in kind of introducing these AI systems into the world? Like how do people have to care, and if so, kind of where's the line drawn? How important of a consideration is it?
Thank you. That is indeed I would say an underappreciated point in most of AI conversations. Ethics in AI is an extremely important consideration. Yes, and one of the main reasons for this is that we are using AI to take decisions on our behalf. We don't always understand why. Yeah, it's a new technology. We set everything around it, explainability, this, that, but it has implications for us. Yeah, unlike the digital transformation, which was more about automation, this is much more about decisions. And we have a few examples, yes, already where it has impacted, tangibly lives of people. Yeah, whether it was the case of Walmart, people getting hired there, or the case of UK police, putting people in jail, and there are a few. But One other aspect of ethics in AI that I would like to highlight is that, of course, we always view it from the lens of harm. Yeah? How can we keep this tool, yeah, or monitor this tool to minimize the harm that we can do to society, to our customers, break laws, etc. But by focusing on harm, there is something that we are missing. The thing that we are missing is the power of AI to create value through good. And I'll give you one example. We hold AI to a higher ethical standards than we hold our humans to. Yes? The stark example of this was it is the most famous case of Amazon using AI to shortlist CVs for hiring. After 6 months of doing that, they discovered a bias. The bias in the AI. Yes? And of course, then the AI was shut down. Now, this is used as an example of the harm that AI can do, but I look at it from a completely different perspective. I see that the bias was coming from the training data. The bias is something that is intrinsic to the human system we have.
Yeah, so it was already the baseline, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we detected it with AI because we hold our AI to that standard. Yeah? And we had a choice. Yeah? It was the same way we were able to measure the bias with AI, we can measure it in the human processes also. Yes? So we have a choice where we use AI and measure against biases and correct it in our processes, in our human systems, or we shut down AI, yes, and then measuring the same things in humans is extremely challenging because they are humans. Yeah, there are other forces at play.
Right.
Yeah? So I would really like to submit this perspective in front of all of you, that when we talk about AI, we should not always be talking about harm. Yeah? There is another perspective where AI and ethics in AI can be a force to make the world better and fairer.
Absolutely. That resonates with me as well. I think that AI is so often portrayed as like, a potential evil in the society, but even from a company standpoint, I think focusing on ethics and having AI do good versus harm, it actually builds brand value, right? So, I think a lot of the work that we've done at Meta has precisely been that, to leverage AI to improve sort of the content and sort of the family friendliness of the platform. So yeah, I totally agree with that. So this will be my last question, and this will be for you, Tino. So I know you'd already made references to kind of the future of work, and I'm glad to hear that you're kind of a proponent of the kind of theory that AI is complementary, meaning that it won't replace jobs. It's more of a complementary factor that will actually create opportunities for society. So I guess my question would be, how does that sort of translate to to the organization? Will there have to be sort of certain leadership decisions or processes that have to change to account for this changing future of work? Will regulations have to change in government to sort of take into account kind of changing work environments? So how do you perceive that coming to play in Siemens?
Yeah, good question as well. And let me first go on and a little bit follow up and say, fair enough. AI is not an evil, right? We not should look on the harm. We should always take care on this, but doesn't matter what technology we are doing. We always need to make it safe. But taking the chances, which is giving to us, and AI, as I also elaborated in my speech, is giving us great chances to tackle the challenges we have in globally, altogether, but especially in my case in the industries. And that's what we need it for, and that's what we need to focus our efforts for. And then coming to your questions, it's of course having impact in terms of organizational aspects in our company. So we adapting far more. We have startups inside the company which are looking at really bringing a new technology quickly up. It's not just running in the old style PLM processes that would take too long for special things. So having changed ourselves to keep up with the immense speed of how this technology evolves, right? And once we have then out of these internal startups identify the technology that we bring into real kind of serious production, in our words, a bit different what's meant on the car side, but bringing this into the general things, then of course we implement this in our normal line organization. But that's one thing. We have changed the way how we incubating, how we're speeding up innovations. We of course have focused more on also hiring talents out of this technology. So this is also something we are sourcing differently nowadays. And of course, in the management and executive organization, we need to look also understanding what AI is and what benefit it can be for us growing business. Of course, we need to make at the end a business case out of this and bring it over there. So this plays an essential role in the way we are running and adapting how we run a company, fair enough. On the other hand, looking to the people itself and what we're doing, I mean, I shared a few aspects already that we have set our ground rules that AI is not meant to replace anyone. It's meant to support people, to make their work environment better, less failure and all the stuff I said already, but also to work the same or even more work with less people, because this is one of the challenges. So it's not necessarily meant to replace people, but it's meant to allow productive manufacturing, productive industries with less people available. So that's a very important topic, right? And for that, we are taking all the actions into account in preparing the people for that, right? If today you go into a typical old-fashioned small manufacturing company, you will have this one guy who holds the hand on the machine, and based on the vibration he tells you when to fix the motor, right? This guy you'll not have anymore in 10 years, but you're not gonna start from scratch and then find the AI, the machine learning that tells you that. So you need to bring the knowledge of these people into the machine learning, into the AI, into the language model. So, and this is what we need to do, and this gives also companies a great chance to, you know, take the people along that journey. It's not just telling tomorrow we are different. No, we need you to go along the journey. We take your knowledge, and they will feel proud giving their knowledge, but also giving the people a chance then to develop into new roles that do not exist today. And this, from an organizational perspective, is what we are doing.
Absolutely, and I'm sure there's the upskilling component where I'm sure the guy putting his hand on the engine doesn't want to be there, forever, right? So I think taking him along the journey, kind of upskilling him, improving his prospects, I think is a very valuable thing. And I think with that, we're actually right on time. Perfect. So I'll be moving around the conference, and I'm sure these gentlemen will be as well. I've learned so much just listening to them speak, and I'm sure they'd be happy to take more questions as well. So thank you all for your time and engagement, and looking forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you.
Thanks everyone.